a lot of people have asked me, "Hey Miguel, can you please just give me like what do you think price targets in terms of number of X's that I can have for these tokens?" I'm not going to speak on terms of price of the tokens. I think they'll do well, but I want to have all the numbers in front of me as well as like what to see how the systems are working. Because once I know kind of how the systems are working, I can figure out pretty much psychological kind of triggers for like how people are going to start reacting to the yield farms, yield, um, money flowing. Is it really easy to move things around? If it's things are difficult to move around, and then that might show like, oh wow, money may get stuck here for a second, and then we can take advantage of that. Or money's free flowing pretty easily. There's not much like hiccups anywhere. But onboarding's bad or onboarding's really good. Like, holy crap. So like, there's just a lot of these little like interplays basically once the system launches. So I need to figure out the psychology of it. And also the game theory of what's going to happen, because the game theory may be one way, but because of this sort of event, it becomes negative, right? So something that you have like in that I see like that I've seen only in like in the Phantom ecosystem is like, you have a lot of retail. Just like in Hex, right? You have a lot of retail. There is VCs in Phantom, so that changes it a little bit of the equation. But it's this whole thing where like we can be retarded longer than they can be solvent, is that sort of thing. So, um, that quote's always funny. Uh, yeah, we can always be retarded longer than you can be solvent. Is so true. But because of that, right, you have a lot of these big like this is why I've always invested in chains where like it's mostly people oriented crowds, as well as like where the action's at, right? Because it's kind of easier to tell narratives and kind of see where things are going versus like chains that are very VC heavy. The game's already secretly sewn up already, right? Like you saw this with like Solana and stuff. I didn't recommend many Solana projects at all because as I did deeper and deeper research, the average Solana chain, right? The VCs get in at a $10 million valuation, and then it comes out and it's for $500 million. So right off the rip, they're up 50x or more. So they, as soon as it pumps up or anything, they're just perma dumping it because it's all profit at that point. Like they put $100,000 down, they have $5 million. The investors and stuff, they're yield farming on it, and they can dump it for the next 1 year and then earn about $10 million yield plus principal. That's why a lot of stuff isn't performing over there. Where on this, the average user is just like you and me. So we have more of a vested interest to make sure that it does well, take profits here and there, but not kill the system. So it's more of a shared sort of thing. Where in the VCs, it's all the incentives are all lopsided for the VC to win versus the normal person, right? But like I've said this before, and many, 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 many times, is that for systems to work, you need upwards mobility. So you need ways for people to sort of some of people or a good chunk of people to start over time going up the system, go from poor to middle class to upper middle class to rich, lower rich, all that jazz. And if those things aren't in place, the system can work for a while, but eventually it'll break down. So if you do have sort of things where you have enough games and you have enough systems where enough different people can win, then you have a system that can support itself, and then you have different pools of deeper capital that you can draw from and stuff over time. So yeah. So Kyle, what's going on with the $5 super chat? I've been buying this dip on Hex. In your opinion, keep buying Hex or save fiat for Pulse? I sacrifice for Pulse X too.